Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Off Bench Podcast. And it's a great edition for the Off Bench Podcast because I'm here, Will is here, so we're 2 for 2. Kyle Bob's Cup. You know, what's interesting about this season, Sprite Cranberry is already out in stores, which is, I think, a little weird because it's barely even halfway through October. But it's out, so are the pumpkins. That just means that we're sort of finding our way into college basketball season, which I cannot wait for. We're going to talk about that soon on the podcast. It's college football today, though. We've got a couple things to hit on. We've got what was Monday Night Football in the background, but the Bears just won, so we've turned it off. And the main things that we have on the docket today are the firing of James Franklin, sort of commemorating him as the Penn State coach, because I got a lot to talk about there. Will's instant reactions to last week, which we're very excited to hear. A lot went down in week 7, and we haven't heard Will's thoughts on it, so that'll be exciting. And also just sort of an overall view of the coaching carousel that we're going to have in the offseason, because it is going to be crazy. And also a look back on week 1's Sellers shenanigans, just to see, how things have changed from what we thought they were going to be to what they are. So that's sort of what we got going on today. We can't wait to get to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we should start with Will's instant reaction, sort of hear what he has to say about what transpired in week 7 of college football. So without further ado, Will Arundel, take it away.
Thanks, Ben.
No problem.
I will get to that in just a second. I just want to say, both of us went 7-3 this week in our pick'ems. We have been like 8-2, 8-2, 7-3.
It's not bad.
Like I know you're not happy with how this year's gone picking wise, but dude, you've been on fire the last 2 weeks and stuff.
So have you, though, if we've tied.
Yeah, I mean, it's every week we just tie. And I don't know. Last week I was expecting to have multiple differences. We had like 2 differences, I think. And then the other loss was Indiana. So we were differences on Michigan, USC, Alabama, Missouri, and then Indiana won.
Well, what about the other one? Because we both had 3. So, I missed
so
Missouri, Indiana.
You missed Missouri, Indiana. Oh, hold up. Sorry. We might have gotten 8-2. I have the picture.
I'm trying to think what we would have missed.
Let's see. Okay. Alabama, Ohio State, Indiana, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, A&M. Yeah, I think we went 8-2. Oh, Utah, Arizona State.
We both picked Arizona State.
Look,
we didn't know Sam Bradley was going to be healthy.
And maybe that was why they were 9.5-point favorites, but I didn't hear about that all week. I didn't hear about that at all. So, I don't know.
I guess our apologies for not doing enough research, but I didn't hear anything about it either.
It was truly announced on Friday morning. I woke up Friday morning and it was truly, I'm kidding. It was truly announced on Friday. But anyways, let's get into it. As I do, I go through 11 o'clock, 2:30, night game window. So we're going to start off with 11 o'clock. Weren't the best games, but they were good games. Alabama and Mizzou is what we're going to start with. It was the ABC game. We start with the ABC game. We always do.
Because ABC is the most important.
And the best way to start off is talk about Ty Simpson. Is anybody hotter than Ty Simpson? I don't think so. He was great in this game. I'll try to rush through all this, I promise. But he was incredible in this game. 3 for 200 passing yards. 23-31, another game where he only has 8 incompletions. I think he had 8 versus Vandy. And this was a game where I do not want highlights, where he was harassed a lot of the game. Zion Young, Damon Wilson got back there multiple times. And the crazy thing was Missouri's secondary really matched up well with us. They limited Latsier Brooks, who was our leading wide receiver, to only 58 yards. Jordy Bernard was a non-factor. Ryan Williams didn't even catch a ball, really. And Isaiah Horton, who I'm going to start referring to as Baby J-Mo, looked like he was going to be the guy, He looks just like J-Mo. I mean, the gear, everything, he just looks just like him. And then they kind of shut him down. But what I think was what was so impressive was what Ty Simpson was able to do when he was harassed, when there was guys back there, he still made plays. And that's just something that, no offense to Jalen Miller, he was great, but we would not have seen that from Milroe last year. He was not super great against pressure. Ty Simpson continues to look great against pressure. Offensive line was rotated throughout the game. which I kind of like. A lot of Alabama fans have been like, why are they rotating the offensive line? If a guy goes down, you have a guy who has experience, who's played in a lot of games. So I kind of like the rotating of the offensive line. Saban has said we haven't really found it, but offensively, Alabama came out and it looked like they weren't going to get it going right away, and then some key things happen. Zion Young gets an unsportsmanlike conduct, kind of a bailout, but also like, what are you doing, Zion Young? Like, it's about to be 3rd and 15 or whatever, and you stand over Jeremy Bernard, and then on 3rd and 8, the tone was set. Ty Simpson throws a dart, and Lotzer Brooks, who I could spend 30 minutes on, makes this unbelievable catch, acrobatic, really was a tone setter. Alabama goes down and scores, and they really didn't look back a lot of that half. Second half, things got tough. Ty Simpson had to make plays, and I don't think I've seen a better play than a better throw than Ty Simpson made on 4th and 8. To have the guts, I'll just say guts, to throw it downfield, corner post, and drop it on a dime right to Lotzer Brooks on the left-hand side, short into the field, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Could not believe it. As a fan, I was like, whoa, but even like people that do not like Alabama that know me have been like, dude, that Ty Simpson kid, that throw was absurd. I also liked what Alabama had in the run game. The way they were able to, kind of lean on that run game. Something that was very impressive. Also churned out some long drives, which is very, very impressive. Was not the case last year a lot. And to, have those long drives, I want to see our time of possession, because we possessed the ball for a lot of, Alabama, I'll try not to sound biased, but they possessed the ball for a lot of this game. And then with Missouri, it wasn't an awful game from Perbula. He missed some throws. Obviously, the turnovers were huge in pretty big times. The last one you can't have. Had Marquise Johnson open. I know he was mad about that, and he was mad about one earlier where he beat somebody on a deep ball. Perbula threw it into the stands or like way out of bounds. But this was a much improved game from Alabama's linebackers, I thought. Lawson was way better in this game. He led us in tackles. He was tied with Nakai Hill-Green, and Justin Jefferson was right down there in third, tied in third. And then Yonsei Pierre, who's kind of a hybrid guy who you can play a little bit of linebacker as well. So linebackers made some plays. They stepped up. I think Missouri was like 1 of 13 on 3rd down. So that's a paper popper. Definitely something you don't want to see if you're a Missouri fan. But the big thing everybody was talking about was Ahmad Hardy, his rushing ability. Bama shut him down. 12 carries for 52 yards. Bo Perbula led him in rushing.
Yeah, if you told me that at the beginning of the game, I would not believe
wild.
it.
So, like, if you told me Missouri's going to outrush Alabama, it's like, oh, yikes. That's not good. Which is kind of what everybody was expecting. But, they're going to outrush Alabama. But Perbula is going to be the leading rusher, and you would think, interesting. This could go either way. And it just went Alabama's way. It could have gone Missouri's way. They really fought. They really gave a good effort. How about the freshman Olugbode, number 1?
Is his first name Donovan?
Donovan Olugbode.
Okay. I've just been calling him Donovan O.
Donovan O. He really stepped up when it mattered most, and made some big plays. Not a very good game from Nittany Jackson again, but that's okay. Ever since Nittany Jackson has switched helmets, he's not been good. Let's see. We will skip past Ohio State, Illinois. We'll go to Indiana, Oregon. How about that?
Go for it.
This game was wild. Absolutely wild. I was tired of everybody who was saying, Indiana's just really good, but they're not quite with Oregon. They can hang with Oregon. And was I expecting the game to play out the way it played out? No. But, man, they can still hang with Oregon. And, I mean, it was insane what we saw. Fernando Mendoza masterclass. He was so good. The fact he threw a pick 6 and they still won by 10 is just wild to me. That's kind of mind-boggling. If you tell me Mendoza's going to throw a pick 6 at a crucial moment in the game and Indiana's going to win by 10, I would have said you were a madman. but that's just what we saw. I was really impressed with his connection with Elijah Surratt. Elijah Surratt was just a matchup nightmare. 8 receptions, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. And Oregon kind of thought they could match up well with Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper, and just it was a gamble that did not pay off. They actually combined for 15 receptions together, nearly 200 yards, all combined, which was very impressive. And the way they were able to run the ball too, between the tackles with Roman Hemby, was very impressive as well. Hemby scored 2 touchdowns in big moments, and obviously this doesn't rule out anything with like Oregon. Everything's in front of them still. I expect them to be highly favored in all their games, and also Indiana. But what a win for Curt Cignetti. It felt like this is a team that could be better than last year's team, and it is most definitely better. I mean, what they have in the passing attack, and a lot of last year, it felt like Curtis Rourke in the big games, he got harassed by the defense. That Notre Dame game, that Ohio State game, he just got harassed by the defense. Offensive line was able to block, which was really impressive. Indiana's linebackers, Aiden Fisher was flying everywhere. He is so good.
Dude, Indiana's linebackers, if you want to watch football, if you've never watched football before and you want to see what football is, watch Indiana's linebackers. Because, I'm sorry to interrupt you in the middle, but I'm so passionate about this.
No.
They're 100%, might not be as good as, like, Alabama's linebackers or Ohio State's. They're not as talented, but they give you their 100% on every single play, and you can tell because Indiana's defense, they run a lot of like cover 2 where they run a 4-3, and they rely on their linebackers to stop the run, to stop the short pass, and the QB spy, and they do it all. They're so good. Like it's such a beautiful thing to watch. Is what Indiana's linebackers do for the team. You continue, but it's just so perfect.
I absolutely agree. And it's just such a theme with this team because there's multiple players who've been doubted throughout their career. And Curt Cignetti has taken a chance on them. And now they're the number 3 team in the country. No one is doubting them right now. Everybody's put them on a pedestal. Let's see how they can keep it up. Obviously, that's kind of rat poison in some ways. But, man, linebackers flew around. Having D'Angelo Pons was huge. Having him back, he was gone versus Iowa. He's their best corner. With Amari Farrell, though, he's really good too. But with Oregon, it's a tough loss. You obviously wanted it. It's at home. A lot of people were expecting you to win, but other than Pat McAfee. But I mean, everything is in front of them. I do not doubt them. They can obviously accomplish everything they want. Oklahoma, Texas. Speed run through this. Texas had a much improved approach to this game. You could tell that they wanted this. Get to the box score. That they wanted, they really wanted this game. It's a huge game. Both teams wanted it, but I think there was a sense of urgency coming off the loss versus Florida. There's a sense of urgency. They knew they needed this one, and I think there's a lot of people who just kind of said, "Oh, Texas has 2 losses. They can't make the playoff." If they play like that, they can make the playoff. If they run it the way they do. Quintravion Wisner, he was a problem, man. He actually ran between the tackles. A lot of that, you just got to give credit to their offensive line. It blocked. Their guards blocked.
How about that? What's interesting, they started a true freshman at left guard.
Oh, really?
Big, and his first name's Nick. I forget his last name, but he's 6'8", like 345 pounds, all the talent in the world. He made some mistakes, but Steve Sarkisian identified the problem and attacked it and replaced it. And was he perfect? No, but he played so much better than their left guard against Florida. It was not even close.
I wonder.
Emily and Harley are off the hook, and so is Jack.
Oh my gosh, dude. I wonder if I followed this guy's recruiting, because I follow a lot of recruiting. So
I don't know if he's true freshman or redshirt freshman.
He could be a redshirt, but yeah, I'm interested. I had no idea about that. But
71, I think is.
It was improved. It was improved. It's just you can't. I think a lot of people have blamed Arch Manning for the way he's played the last few weeks, and it's just like you gotta have a team around you. Look, did Arch Manning set the world on fire in this game? No, and he made some good throws, but they asked him what he needed to do. He was efficient. He was 21 of 27 for 166 yards. He didn't light the world on fire, but he did what he needed to do, and they got a ground game going. They, made some plays, and you called it, my boy. You called it with the special teams touchdown. It was Ryan Niblett, I believe.
Yeah.
He had a punt return touchdown, 75 yards, and that's what put it away. It put it away. Everybody knew, this game's over. And you kind of called it. Oklahoma's special teams has not been great. But yeah, I thought John Mateer was going to play. I really wanted to pick Oklahoma in this one because I kind of knew John Mateer was going to play. And I feel like some of that, is just, I just felt like Brent Venables, the way he was playing everything off, the way he was saying, is he in the building? Come on, dude. He's playing. And he did not play super well. He threw for over 200 yards, but he had 3 critical miscues, 2 picks to Malik Muhammad. I don't remember who his last pick was to, but just, it was not the best game from him. They can obviously rebound, but again, another game where they were not able to run the ball at all. 30 rushes for 48 yards. Terrible. They did give Jaden Ott 1 carry for 2 yards, which is funny.
Let's go.
I did not catch that by any means. But Texas wins the Red River shootout.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't a shootout.
Good word there.
It was not a shootout. We will quickly go over Texas A&M, Florida. I think what impresses me most with Texas A&M is the way Florida came out, got off to a quick start. They come right back quick. It's already 14-14 after the first, but they make adjustments. They keep it low scoring. They only give up 3 the rest of the game, and they win 34-17. I think this is a team that can win in multiple areas of the game, in multiple ways. They can win low scoring. They can win a shootout against Notre Dame. So I think that's super impressive what they can do in that area. I do have something quick to say about Illinois, Ohio State, actually. Okay. Illinois, Luke Altmaier had the better numbers, had more yards. Rushing, they rushed for more yards against Ohio State. The top receiver in this game was, I think his name's Colt Rusk, one of their tight ends. So every single one of these guys are the first people that pop up when you look at ESPN on the app, which is crazy, and they lost by 18. Just a testament to how good Ohio State.
Why is that?
I think they had the ball a lot and they couldn't score. But I didn't watch the game. But I think they had it a lot. I guess time of possession maybe or something.
I would look at. I haven't looked at that game closely enough yet, but what I would look at there is turnovers, 4th down conversion rate, and just sort of were those? What was that?
They had 3 turnovers. So yeah, inefficient,
and red zone efficiency too.
Yeah, I wonder how good they were in the red zone too. So because obviously you can drive all the way down the field, but if you don't put any points on the board against Ohio State, it's not going to do anything. So that they, and by the looks of it, they might have kicked 3 field goals. I don't know. It was 34-16. They could have had 1 touchdown, and I think they actually didn't though. I think they had 2 touchdowns, and they might have gone for 2 or something.
Yeah.
Let's get to Georgia Auburn. This will be the last one I talk about. Auburn really comes out, sets it on fire, sets the world on fire. It looked great. That offense was kind of running all over Georgia. They didn't have to really pass it. Jackson Arnold was just giving it off. He was making plays, and it was easy. They made it look easy. They go up 10-0, and then you think you go up 17-0, and the ball pops loose. The ball squirts loose, and just feels like the rest of the game they couldn't recover from that. That was a moral victory on the Georgia side, and it was a moral defeat on the Auburn side. Big moral defeat. And Hugh Freeze couldn't let it go. He kind of talked about it all during halftime, whenever they which it's hard not to, but I think that whole Auburn team couldn't let that go. And the second half they come out, and it's just amazing how Georgia can just come out of the second half and look like a completely different team. like, I don't know how they do it. The voodoo magic Kirby has, but come out of the second half, they look like a completely different team. They win the game 20-10. They don't even give up another point in the second half. I don't even know if Auburn got across midfield.
They didn't get a single first down.
They didn't get a single first down. That is ridiculous. And they got dismantled in the first half. That defense got dismantled. I do not understand it. Kirby Smart is such a good coach. Say what you want about him in this game. The timeout thing was wild. I don't know.
I talked about that.
I don't have much to say about that, but I do think everybody always blames their offensive coordinator. I'm blanking on his name.
Mike Bobo?
Mike Bobo.
Terrible offense. God, I could rant about him for so long.
Towards the end of the game, he had it. And in the second half, he had it. There was a few play calls where I was like, why are we throwing a screen right there? But, like, still, man, that last drive, go through and watch that last drive. It was decisive. Gunnar Stockton looked good running it. And Georgia gets to win, man. It wasn't pretty. Sometimes you got to win ugly. I think a lot of teams need to realize that. A lot of teams need to realize that. A lot of fans need to realize that. Sometimes you have to win ugly. And to me, I'd rather, in some ways, sometimes get a dub the ugly way. Because when you don't get a dub the ugly way, you can get complacent. And you can think, oh, we're going to mow through everybody. And then, bang, you get punched in the mouth, you drop down, and that's it. So, Georgia gets the dub. Obviously, frustrating one. The refs were not great in this one, but I won't even talk about the fumble because it was just so close. It was super close. So
it is worth noting that Auburn was inches away from being up 17-0 against Georgia going into halftime.
Yeah.
Literal inches away. And yes, you could argue that, fate has it against Auburn and they're cursed or whatever. But to me, you were up 10 still going into halftime. And yet you made a lot of mental errors on that last drive. Yeah. And your team was completely deflated going into the second half, which leads me to believe that Hugh Freeze did not have the best mantra going into the but honestly, it's so hard when you and Auburn has gone through a lot this season through the refs. Admittedly, from an Alabama fan, Auburn has had the brunt of a lot of unlucky circumstances.
Agreed.
And it is so difficult as a head coach of a team that has so much pressure. Auburn has put so much pressure on Hugh Freeze. Yeah. It is so hard to have a positive mindset when you go into that locker room after something like that happens.
That's a great point.
But that was the challenge placed in front of him. Yeah. And if I'm being completely honest, a team that doesn't have a first down in the second half does not deserve to win a football game. But I will say, if Georgia's linebackers, I'll credit Georgia on this. If they didn't make that play on the goal line, if Auburn scores that touchdown, goes up 17-0 into halftime, I don't know if there's a chance that Georgia wins that game. I think it's worth saying.
I think 17's a lot of points to come back from 17. You also and I feel like some of those Auburn on that penalty drive where there was plenty of penalties, some of those Auburn players were just trying to be aggressive and say, we got to get this back so our offense can get some more points. They were doing stupid things that they were undisciplined in some ways, but they were trying to get the ball back because they were like, our offense just worked their tails off and they didn't score, and you want to find a way to maybe get the ball back. And it's unfortunate. Missouri Auburn, I think Hugh Freeze has to win it. I think if he loses, I think they're gonna say we're done with you. That will be 4 losses in a row. Is it fair? Probably not. They probably should have. They probably deserve to win one of these games here and there. But if they lose to Missouri, I think he's done. And I don't know how fair that is to him. He's obviously tried his hardest. There's not been great calls, but I'm going to call it right there. So that's what I got. It was a good week 7, and just wanted to give my thoughts.
No, that was great. That was very well said. And I've got more to talk about Hugh Freeze later when I talk more about the coaching carousel.
Perfect.
But our next segment that we're going to get into is a remembrance of James Franklin. For those who are not aware, and if you're not aware, you're probably not a huge college football fan, or you don't keep up with the college football news as much as other people do. If you are a big college football fan, you are definitely aware that Penn State on Sunday fired their head football coach, James Franklin. James Franklin was with the Nittany Lions for, I believe, 12 years, and he is now out. They paid a heck of a lot of money to fire him and his staff, and Penn State will now be in search of a new head coach. Now, before I talk about this move, before I talk about what it means for James Franklin, what it means for Penn State, what it means for the college football world, I would like to go through James Franklin's career as the Penn State head coach and sort of commemorate him. Because, we on this show, we're not sad when things are over. We're glad that they happened. And I'm glad that James Franklin happened at Penn State, because let me just lay out what he was able to accomplish there. First of all, he was 104-45 overall as head coach. And you might say, well, that's not very good. Well, Auburn's 3-3 right now. Florida's 2-4 right now. It's really not easy to win games like that. And James Franklin won games. 6 of his 12 years at Penn State, so that's half of the years he coached at Penn State, he had 10 or more wins. That is really hard to do. And also, the last 3 years, not counting 2025, 2024, 3 and 2, he had 10 plus wins.
Yeah.
That is really hard to do, especially in this landscape of college football. Not very many teams, not even Alabama, can say that they've had 10 plus wins in that time span. The bowl games that he's won, he's been to a bunch of New Year's Six bowls. He's won the Rose Bowl, he's won the Fiesta Bowl twice, and he's won the Cotton Bowl.
Almost the Orange Bowl. One play away from winning the Orange Bowl. Probably.
Exactly, and almost one play away from winning the Rose Bowl back in 2017, I believe it was.
Yeah.
He was.
Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was ranked. His team was ranked in the AP poll for 10 straight seasons, which is just another stat out there. He's had 4 consensus All-Americans that he's coached. Saquon Barkley, one of the greatest football players ever, by the way, in Saquon Barkley.
Trace McSorley, of course.
Not Trace McSorley. Abdul Carter last year.
Okay.
Amazing player.
Tyler Warren, yeah.
Not Tyler Warren.
Not Tyler Warren.
Not a consensus All-American. These
Who
are
is
consensus All-Americans.
Consensus? What is
I think Harold Fannin Jr. got some of the votes. Carl Nassib.
Yeah, Carl Nassib. Yeah.
He's famous for some other things, but he was a consensus All-American at Penn State.
He was.
And this dude in 2023, I think he's an offensive lineman. I don't really remember him, but Olu Fashuna?
Oh yeah, Olu Fashuna.
Yeah,
he was a huge draft guy. I don't remember where he went, but he was.
I feel like he's had no
everybody's
NFL
big
career.
board. I don't know. Dude, he was on everybody's big board. Like he was like one of the guys to get at the line.
Yep, and he's coached so many great players throughout the years. I mean, Micah Parsons was under him, Chris Godwin, Trace McSorley, of course, one of my favorites, Miles Sanders,
Sean Clifford.
I mean, not the best quarterback, but still a stud.
Dude, he was a beast.
In his own right, for sure.
KJ Hamler.
KJ
was tough back in the day.
So fast.
He was awesome.
Juwan Johnson.
Yeah.
He's a stud too. Just so many great players went through that program. And I will say, I grew up an Alabama fan. My dad went to Alabama. My favorite teams growing up were Alabama football teams. But out of all those teams, my second favorite program growing up was the 2016 to 2018 Penn State Nittany Lions. I love this team so much. Everything about them. Their quarterback was Trace McSorley. He was this little white dude running around making plays. I loved him so much. It started in 2016 on a Saturday night when Penn State unranked Penn State, 4-2 at the time, hosted 6-0 number 2 Ohio State. It was a whiteout. It was a night game in Happy Valley, and Penn State pulled it off from a blocked field goal returned by Grant Haley.
Can't believe it.
God, that play was so electric. I get chills thinking about it right now.
I was camping that weekend or something, and I missed the game.
I watched it.
And
I got to watch it.
I remember I went home and I was like,
what? Ohio State lost?
It was crazy. Crazy that. So that was 2016.
Yep, and I would say to this day that is James Franklin's best win.
Yeah.
And that year was so awesome for Penn State football, and I believe that year they should have made the playoffs and they got scammed. Let me lay it out for you. They won the Big Ten over Wisconsin. They beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. Their losses that year, they lost to Pitt and they lost to Michigan, and Michigan was really good that year. And they snuck into the Big Ten.
Washington.
Big Ten. No, it wasn't Washington. It was Ohio State.
2016?
They put Ohio State over Penn State, even though
What
Penn
year?
State beat Ohio State head-to-head and won the Big Ten championship. And Ohio State made the playoffs. In 2016, it got smoked by Clemson.
Wait, but I
Remember that?
thought that was the 2v3 game. Like,
It was
that was
Clemson. Yeah, but I
They
thought that
still
Ohio
could've,
State
okay.
shouldn't have made the playoffs and it should have been Penn
But
State.
you thought Washington should have been in.
No, yes, I do, but I thought Washington should have been number 4 and Penn State should have been number 3. Because Penn State beat Ohio State and they won the Big Ten.
Won the Big Ten.
They had one more loss, but they had
How
the same amount of
did
wins.
they?
I don't know. I didn't get it.
I guess because they had a second loss. I don't remember anything.
I thought I was, as a little kid, that was the most angry I'd been about sports is when Penn State didn't make the playoffs. They got to play in the Rose Bowl that year. One of the best college football games ever, by the way, in that Rose Bowl against USC. USC won it like 52-49.
That was crazy.
Such an awesome game. But I love that team so much. And then the next year they were so good too with Mike Gesicki. And they went into Columbus and they had a 28-10 lead over Ohio State. They were number 2 in the country at that point. Penn State was. Ohio State came back and won that game. I actually, the Astros-Dodgers World Series was going on at that point, so I was watching that game on my dad's phone in Minute Maid Park because I went to Game 4 of the World Series.
That's awesome.
And I was watching that game on my phone, and I was so sad because I love that team so much, and it was so sad to see them lose that game.
I remember watching that game. I remember those Ohio State gray uniforms against the white uniforms, and Saquon Barkley just going crazy at the very beginning of the game. Long kick return, everything was wild.
And I will say, like, the whole wide-out environment that everyone loves so much, it's because of James Franklin. James Franklin recruited everyone to come and make those games so huge. He got the fans to come. Everyone says that's one of the best environments in college football. It would not be the same without James Franklin and what he's done there. Other great moments, I remember they played Thursday night to open up the year against Purdue one year. I think it was one of the Sean Clifford years. I think it was 2021 or 2022. But I think it was 2021 because it was his first year after COVID. And awesome game. I think Purdue was favored, and Penn State went in there and won like 34-31. It was an awesome game. I don't remember that. It was weird. Penn State was unranked to start the year. And then that was the same year, and a couple weeks later, they went into Auburn and crushed Auburn.
Then that would have been 22.
Okay, 22 then. They smoked Auburn in Jordan Hare, and then everyone was like, whoa, this Penn State team is good.
Nick Singleton year.
Yeah,
he was a freshman, and everybody was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. And they were good that year, too. I remember 2019, they were undefeated until they played Minnesota on the road, lost that game. But my point is, there's been so many fun moments and fun players and fun teams that James Franklin has assembled at this university. And I'm really glad that the James Franklin era happened when I was growing up and up to where I am now. It's been a fun ride. So now I want to talk about the move itself, Penn State firing James Franklin. I mean, first of all, you heard the stat I said earlier. They've had 10-plus wins the last 3 years, and I understand why they made the move. Obviously, there was so much going into this year. They were building towards 2025, and you had your huge night game at home under the lights, whiteout against Oregon. All the critics are saying, Penn State can't win big games. They never win big games. Here's an opportunity. Can you win this game? Finally get a big game. Everyone was talking about it all offseason, and you lose in double overtime. Really emotional loss. So emotional that you go to Pasadena without your best linebacker, Tony Rojas, and you lose that game to UCLA, a team that was 0-4 and hadn't led a game for a single snap all year. Terrible loss. And then you come back at home against Northwestern and lose. I've talked about it already on my Instant Reactions podcast, but you lose your quarterback for the rest of the year. And the strong suit of this team going into the year, I thought was going to be their running backs and their defensive line. Their D-line has been paper mache this year. Zane Durant, I think, might just be sitting at home eating Doritos. I have no idea where he is. Deniden Sutton's had moments. He's a good player, but he's not a game wrecker. And Nick Singleton is averaging like 3.6 yards per carry. So it's just been bad this year. So I understand why they made the move because of how loud Penn State fans are about how terrible it is right now. But I don't understand it because I think this move was made because of the pressure. I don't think that Penn State's assistant or athletic directors, I don't think that they really thought this through, and I don't think they made the right decision. Because who out there are you going to get that's going to be a better coach than James Franklin? I don't know that they're going to find somebody. I've heard people say, what do we find? They'll just get Curt Cignetti. You're not getting Kurt Cignetti.
He's not.
He's not leaving.
He just got there, and he's built something incredible.
And he's making $8 million a year, and he has like a huge contract. He's not leaving Indiana. It's not happening. You're not getting Dan Lanning. You're not getting a lot of these people that are in long-term contracts to leave their universities to go to your school. It's not going to happen. Are they going to get a good coach? Probably. But you're not going to get one of the really high-tier guys. You know who I really like the Penn State job because I think a bunch of people would want to coach at Penn State. It's an awesome place to be. It's a great program. They've got great NIL money. They're one of the best programs in college football. There's a guy who I think has no chance of getting the head coaching job, but I think would be so awesome if they hired him. He's on the staff right now. He's actually an assistant quarterback coach.
I know what you're saying.
If you don't know who I'm talking about, let me give you some hints. He throws on a dime, and he does it like he's not even trying. You know, he's just a kid from Briarwoods. He's wearing number 9. Trace McSorley is literally your assistant quarterback coach. Please, if you're Penn State and you're listening right now, please hire Trace McSorley as your head coach. It might not work out, but it would be so awesome. I want to see it happen so bad.
He lost to UCLA. Look what they did. They got New Heisel. He was their quarterback.
Yep. You know, at the very least, make him your interim. Dude, imagine that. That'd be so awesome. I will say, a name that I've heard that I think has a good amount of chance, there's 2 names. Manny Diaz, I think, has a chance because, you know, he's head coach at Duke right now. Or no, is that true?
Yes, he's at Duke.
He's at Duke. He was Penn State's defensive coordinator for a while.
Also at Miami.
And he did a great job. He was at Miami too. He was amazing defensive coordinator at Penn State. So I think maybe they could hire him. And then Matt Rule kind of makes sense.
That is mine.
That's yours?
Today, Matt Rule opened his press conference saying, "It's sad James Franklin's gone. I think Penn State's a great team, great place." That's literally what he said. I think they offer him. I think he gets the job. I'm just gonna go ahead and go on a limb. When a guy goes out and already says it, now could they get a more? I think they could get Campbell.
They should get Matt Campbell. If it's not Trace McSorley, it should be Matt Campbell.
I think a lot of people don't understand how good of a recruiter, a developer Matt Campbell is truly, and what he could do with real resource money there at Penn State. Oh, it could be scary. It could be really scary. I mean, he just developed 2 wide receivers to the draft. They lose those wide receivers, and they're still a solid team this year. They've had some injuries. They've had some guys go down, so they haven't been as effective as they have been. But they're a team who can just sneak up on you, and it's like, oh, they're 7-0, you know, just like last year. And so I think that's the guy I've heard. I've heard Matt Rule, but I think if they go with either of those guys, I mean, I think you go after Campbell.
I agree with that 100%.
But because of what his body of work is, and it feels like Matt Rule just got there at Nebraska, so maybe he doesn't leave because he's like, well, I've got one more year with Raiola probably, maybe another one. We've recruited really well the last couple of years. He's kind of built something there, but I think if Campbell gets, asked to coach that job, he's gonna go take it. I mean,
he's really loyal to Iowa State.
That's a better job. Yeah, that's true.
But it's a much
better job. So we will see. I like Manny Diaz as well, but I had heard Kurt Cignetti from the moment this happened. I was like,
there's no chance.
But it's all crazy. I mean, to me, I feel like it's an overreaction. It's with the Titans. They fired their coach today too, Brian Callahan. He was there about a year and not even a quarter. Yeah, about a year and a quarter of a year.
What's the Titans record right now?
1-5.
That's 6 out of 18. A year and a third.
Okay, year and a third. I mean, come on. I think we should have given him a couple more games, at the end of the season, maybe make that decision. But I mean, part of that's completely beside the point.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this is an overreaction in my opinion. Obviously, things aren't going to get better this year. I don't know how they get better. It feels like this, team has just been totally battered and beat, and they have nothing to prove now. How do you go on the field now? I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot harder now without their coach as well. But just look at his body of work and look at what he's done I'm so happy Clemson, they went 1-3, and they said, no, we're loyal to Dabo Swinney. He's brought us national championships. He's brought us incredible things. James Franklin has had the same, look, he hasn't won national championships, but he has had the same amount of, what's the word I'm looking for? Change on that program as Dabo Swinney. Yeah, the same amount of effect as Dabo Swinney on that program. And I know he hasn't won national titles, but look at where they were before in plenty of crazy scandals and everything.
Nobody wanted that job.
I don't remember that like old coach's name, but they had plenty of
bad stuff.
terrible. It was the guy who picked up for what's his name? But he turned it around, and from what I've heard, it is a program where they don't mess around, they don't try to cheat, they don't do anything. It is a pure program. It is pure. And I just don't know why you mess with that. You look at his track record, and you were one play away last year from winning the Orange Bowl. And I think what's crazy about this year is you're going to lose some guys this year too. You lost some guys last year. You're going to lose even more guys. It's going to be a reset year next year. So whoever comes in has got to bring in some transfers, bring in some guys, utilize the portal as well. But just wild to me. I saw that on my phone and I could not believe it yesterday at lunch. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was the same way. About Matt Campbell and Matt Rule. To me, Matt Rule is just not as good of a coach as James Franklin is. It's just not close. I mean, look what he's done in Nebraska. Also, I think that if he takes the Penn State job, Raiola might come with him.
No, for sure.
We'll see. I don't know. Obviously, this is all circumspective.
I think so.
And then in terms of Matt Campbell, you made a great point on him being able to develop players. If you don't believe me, Brock Purdy, Breece Hall, Jalen Noel, and Jane Higgins. I mean,
He's on your team, man. Come on.
He is. I know. Xavier Hutchinson too. I mean, their ability to develop players. Matt Campbell's is phenomenal. So if they get Matt Campbell, I think that's the best move. Other than Trace McSorley, of course, which would be just the greatest thing ever. If they make Trace McSorley the head coach, that would make my year.
John Gruden,
that would be hilarious too.
He's taking the Arkansas job.
You think so? Well, that is a good segue actually.
If things go well enough, they may rehire Petrino. That would be crazy. With everything that happened with Petrino, it would just be wild. But
we'll see.
All right.
It's a great segue into our next segment, which is just sort of talking about the coaching carousel and what it's going to be at the end of the year because it's going to be nuts.
I think this is the wildest coaching carousel I can remember of my lifetime. Like watching the sport, I think it is going to be wild.
Yeah,
I mean, there are premier programs who are going to lose guys, and it's tough to see. Some of them, I mean, probably shouldn't go. Probably don't deserve to go for what they've done, their body of work. But it's just going to happen. It's going to be wild to watch.
It will be. And I just have some of the teams and some of the things I want to talk about with these specific programs. Teams that have already fired their coaches, that are already searching, I guess is the way to say that. Arkansas, obviously they have Bobby Petrino right now, but are they going to stay with him long term? We'll see. That's just someone that fired their coach. They fired Sam Pittman last week. Yeah. Penn State, we just talked about them. Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy. That is one of the premier programs in the Big 12.
Sure.
In terms of money and in terms of
the
legacy. Yeah. Who else has already fired their coach? Virginia Tech. That's one of the premier programs in the ACC.
I got one.
UCLA.
I don't know if this one's on your list. UAB fired their coach. I have some interesting.
One of the premier programs.
I'm not saying it's a premier. It's a premier program, but I have some viewpoints on it.
All right. I don't know if
coaching suggestions.
Okay, who's your top candidate for
the
job?
Remember Roddy White, Atlanta Falcons wide receiver? He played at UAB. He said he wants the job. On Twitter, I saw him say, "I want the job." To the reaction, I think that would be nice.
I don't know.
Nick Saban. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But I think Roddy White would be cool.
Dude, how hilarious would that be? If Nick Saban took the UAB job.
I saw edits of him like in a UAB blazer stuff, and I'm like, oh my, this is just.
That would be awesome. I don't even care. Nick Saban, please take the UAB job. That would be awesome.
That would just be like, this is to show that I really am the GOAT. Like anybody who said I wasn't, you're gonna know now.
I would love that. As an Alabama fan, I would love that. But anyway. UCLA has already fired their head coach too. They don't really invest very much in their football program, but I mean UCLA in a past life has been pretty good at football. So you never know with the Bruins. They don't really have a fan base, but they have a cool stadium. And now here are some other teams that I believe will fire their head coach.
Okay, let's hear it.
At the end of the year or whatever. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell is done.
My gosh, I'm surprised they haven't just cut it already. Cut the circuit, 100%. Cut the red wire, cut the blue wire, cut the yellow wire, cut the green wire.
All the wires.
All the wires. Cut them. It's done.
Nothing left.
Danny O'Neil. I don't want to see. I'm just kidding. It's not Danny O'Neil's fault. It's just, I don't know. It just hasn't worked out. Everybody thought it was because he was great in Cincinnati.
I thought it was going to work out too. I thought it was a great hire.
If you would, I thought that was a slam dunk and one hire, and it just hasn't worked out.
It's been terrible. For those who do not know, they just lost 37-0 against Iowa. Their game before, they got smoked against Maryland. The game before, they got smoked against Bama. They're just not putting up a fight.
How do you let Iowa put up 37 or whatever it was?
Ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So Fickell's out. Bill Belichick is not going to finish the year in North Carolina. You cannot convince me they're going to keep him around.
You don't think so?
No, I
mean,
mean,
they keep him around for a year?
I don't think so. I think the North Carolina job is going to be open again. It's been terrible. He's just not the right fit. I think that job's going to be open. Unfortunately, this is also UNC's got a lot of good resources, so that's a job that's intriguing.
What?
North Carolina.
UNC?
But moving on from them, unfortunately, this is not what I would do if I was in charge, but unfortunately, I believe Billy Napier is not going to make it.
I agree. I don't think he will.
I think he's a great recruiter. I think he's assembled a great team. I don't think he's the best play caller, but I think he's a good coach. I understand, again, why Florida is going to want to fire him. I get it. You've given him time, and he's not produced. But I still like him as a coach. So it's not what I would want to happen. It might not be what I would do, but it's definitely going to happen.
It will. And look at the teams he's faced off against. I mean, year after year, he's got an insane schedule. They had the number one hardest last year. They're right up there this year. And it's taken a while to develop. It feels like he's got, players right there. He's utilized the transfer portal, recruiting everything. But it feels like Florida's ready to move on. And it's unfortunate because I don't think he should live. I think if you give him a year or two more, just a year maybe, even like anything, it could really turn out well. But I mean, never should have gotten rid of Dan Mullen. Now it looks like Dan Mullen and UNLV is undefeated now.
Yeah, they could make the playoffs too. No one's talking about them.
They could make the playoffs. They are a Mountain West team, and watch out.
So that's Florida. Again, Florida is one of the marquee programs in the country. So if that job comes open, it'll be huge.
Just huge jobs.
The next program I want to talk about is really not too far away from the Gators. Mike Norvell has lost 8 straight ACC games. 8 straight ACC games. Not SEC games, not Big Ten games. 8 straight ACC losses, 4 of which were at home. I know they beat Alabama. Huge win. But you cannot lose 8 straight ACC games. And by the way, this year, 2 of them, Virginia and Pittsburgh. So, listen, I have problems with the way Mike Norvell runs his program. I think he's a great dude. I think that if they had made the playoffs in 2023, his reputation would be looked on differently. But you cannot just keep portaling in an entire starting lineup every single year and expecting consistency in your program.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work.
So I don't know. Will he reshape the way he builds his roster? Maybe. But if he does do that, bless you.
Excuse me.
If he does do that, then it's another 3 years of rebuilding because they don't have a core. They have a bunch of transfers. And again, he has a super big buyout, but honestly, my observation of big buyouts sort of kind of went out the window with what Penn State paid for getting James Franklin out. Has James Franklin been a better coach over the last 4 years than Mike Norvell? Yes, 100% he has. And Penn State and Florida State have the same record. I mean, Florida State could 100% fire Mike Norvell. I don't think it's smart because it's such a big buyout, But I don't think buyouts mean a lot of things to these big programs anymore.
And it's just crazy to think. And there's a lot of things I can look at. There's a lot of teams I can look at this way. Penn State led by 7 against Oregon, 24-17 in overtime. Look like, they might win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back to bite them. They lose the game. I was just in Tallahassee, and it felt like, Florida State may be back. Nope. I guess that game was an anomaly, whatever. I just don't know. It was wild. But there's so many teams I can look at, like, they were just at the mountaintop, kind of. And then
it happens so fast.
Right back down. It's so fast, dude.
And
crazy.
Just another team like that. This is the last team that I'm going to talk about, and we've already talked about it a little bit, is the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah.
If you look at a lot of games they played this year against Oklahoma, they had a lead in that game in the fourth quarter. And then John Mateer went out and had an amazing drive, and then Jackson Arnold just got assaulted in the backfield a couple times.
Throw,
yeah, that's right. And then in the game against Georgia, I talked about it already, inches away, just barely away from leading that game 17-0. And who knows? Maybe he was across the line. It was pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
It just didn't go their way. If that had gone their way, they're 4-2 right now. Probably they might be ranked, and everyone's talking about Hugh Freeze being a great coach. And listen, I think Hugh Freeze, I don't think he's the best with quarterbacks. I think a lot of the reason why Jackson Arnold is struggling is because Hugh Freeze is in his ear going, you got to throw it to this guy. You have to. This is the read. He's going to be open. Throw it to him. Throw it to him. Throw it to him. And Jackson Arnold is getting all like distressed. He's like, what if he's not there? I don't think Hugh Freeze is great with quarterbacks, but
I don't either.
I think if Hugh Freeze got a good offensive coordinator and a coordinator and a quarterback that know each other, like if they had gotten Mateer and Arbuckle, I think Auburn would be better than Oklahoma is this year with the talent that he has around him.
At a wide receiver and stuff? Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. So I think Hugh Freeze is a great motivator and a great talent developer, and he brings people to his program that he thinks are going to succeed, and I think he's great at that. But he just needs a good offensive coordinator that can really communicate with a quarterback. Yeah. If he gets that, then I think he can soar. But honestly, I don't know if Auburn is going to give him time to do that. If he loses to Missouri, like you said, Auburn fans are not going to be happy with 3-4 and 0-4 in the SEC.
Yeah, I know, and it's wild because I think I agree wholeheartedly. His quarterback, he's been in their ear, and I think they've overthought everything. I mean, Peyton Thorne, you saw it last year, just overthought a lot of things, and now you're seeing it even more with Jackson Arnold, which may be a good thing because he hasn't turned the ball over yet, really. I know he turned it over at the 1-yard line, but has not thrown an interception. I'm talking more about passing. Has not thrown an interception yet, but part of it is because he's in his ear constant 24/7. I mean, Hugh Freeze, it just hasn't worked. Again, you've played 4 ranked teams in a row, and if you lose this one, I think they're going to pull the plug. But you played 4 ranked teams in a row. What do you expect? But that's just the way this conference works. That's the way life is. It's hard, and it is wild that 2013. I know it was 12 years ago. Doesn't feel that long ago. Where Auburn was,
it doesn't.
And even 2019, Auburn wins against Alabama with a true freshman quarterback. You're thinking Bo Nix. He's going to be Alabama's going to be haunted by this guy a couple years to come. And Bo Nix transfers. All this happens. Gus Malzahn's gone. Brian Harsin comes in. They just messed it all. I didn't think they should have ever gotten rid of Malzahn. I know he's not the greatest coach ever, but he was consistently getting you 7+ wins. They got I guess those Auburn boosters. It's always Auburn's boosters. I will have to say about Auburn. I know a lot of Auburn people. Those Auburn boosters always are on coaches, everything. And when they want to pull the plug, they pull the plug. It's no questions asked from anybody else. It's those Auburn boosters. There's such a revenue, what's the word? Revenue, So it's going to be interesting. I think Auburn's going to win this weekend. If I had to pick, I think justice will be served to them. I think they deserve it in some ways with this crazy schedule and just not even looking at what's happened with, referee crews, with officiating. Like, they deserve to just get a win after this brutal sled that they've gone on as a schedule. So
Yeah, and I mean, I did my power ratings for this week. I have Auburn at 19 and Missouri at 18, so I've been really close. I think it's going to be a great game. We'll talk about it more going into the thing. But also, due to my power ratings, these are not rankings, these are power ratings. I've had Auburn playing on the road at the number 12 team in the country, at the number 7 team in the country, and then hosting the number 3 team in the country. There's not a lot of teams that are going to win one of those games, and Auburn was competitive in each one of them. So, in my opinion, I think they should keep Hugh Freeze around. I think he's a great coach. I just think, that just my final thoughts, if he gets an offensive coordinator and a quarterback duo that know what they're doing, then Auburn, I think, can return to that 2019, 2017 sort of peak. I think they're that. I think Hugh Freeze is just missing that. And honestly, I don't know if he's going to want to do that, because I don't think he's going to want to give up control of his quarterbacks. I think he really wants that, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with Auburn. This is a big game, of course, with them against Mizzou. One very last thing I want to do real quick, just before, this is sort of our last segment. I want to look back on my week 1 power rankings. We're sort of midway through the college football season. I think it'll be kind of fun to look and see what I had right, what I had wrong, just sort of where we're at in this college football season. I think
a lot
has changed. So in week 1, I had Texas at number 1. And honestly, I still have Texas in the top 10. It's not the craziest thing ever. Obviously, they're not the best team in the country, but, not the worst thing in the world. At number 2, I had Penn State. So that might be the worst thing in the world. That's looking pretty bad. It's crazy how everyone had such high expectations for this team, and they've performed so under them. So I understand why Penn State wanted James Franklin out, but I still don't understand it, and looking at it in a broader perspective. At number 3, I had Alabama.
Hey, that's good.
That's pretty good. And at number 4, I had Georgia.
Yeah,
Alabama and Georgia are looking pretty good. Those are top 5 teams in my opinion still.
Right.
At number 5 and at number 6, I had Ohio State and Oregon.
Hey,
not terrible.
Not bad.
I mean, I underrated
them
them
a
a
little
little
loss, but they're going to be favored the rest of the way, pretty much.
Yep. And Ohio State, I was a little under them. I had them at 5, but they've proven to be pretty good.
Yeah.
At number 7, I had the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah,
at number
I
7.
knew it was coming.
Remember how high everyone was on Clemson going into the year?
Oh my gosh! I mean, some people would have gone 7. That's too low. They should be number 1. They're winning the national title. It's just like crazy, dude. Crazy.
Joel Klatt.
Life comes at you fast. Life comes at you fast. You go from being Joel Klatt's national champion to unranked and not gonna make the playoffs.
I think Joel Klatt had Clemson in the national championship against Texas, and Penn State winning the Big Ten, and Kansas State winning the Big 12. Joel Klatt is like the ultimate loser in terms of preseason predictions.
He just looks at like, all right, K-State, they return this guy, Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards. I think he's gonna be good. I called his game back in 2023, and he popped off. I'm gonna pick them. Like, come on, dude.
It's rough for him.
It's crazy.
At number 8, I have Notre Dame.
Okay.
Not terrible. I think I have Notre Dame as a top 5 team in my power ratings. I think that Notre Dame USC game, I am so excited to watch it on my phone in Bryant Day Stadium.
You're watching that on your
phone?
phone?
Dude, it's going to be such a good game. I cannot wait for that game. It's going to be awesome. If I get a ticket to the Alabama game. I don't know if I will yet. At number 9, I have LSU. I have them at number 15 right now. So I had LSU a little bit off. Hey, it's fade.
Not Kentucky, though?
Not Kentucky, unfortunately. So LSU number 9. I was much lower on LSU going into the year than most people were.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have number 9. At number 10, I have Miami. Again, a little lower on Miami than where they are now, but that's not the biggest shocker in the world.
No.
At 11, I had Florida, higher than I should have been, but I still think Florida's a great team.
Yep.
12, I had Oklahoma. That's pretty accurate. I think I have Oklahoma at number 12 right now.
I think that's about right. Yeah.
So I'll take that.
Not too high. They shouldn't quite maybe be top 10, but just outside of it, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
At 13, I had USC, and I have at number 10 right now. I still think USC is so good.
You've been high on USC all year, and
yep.
they proved me wrong big time on Saturday.
Yeah, they had a big win against Michigan. Not a lot of people are talking about that because it's USC, but I have them as the 10th best team in the country. So I had them at 13 preseason. They've impressed me a little
Where's
bit.
Iowa, though? That's what I'm waiting on.
Iowa is unranked.
What about Wisconsin? Where's Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, I have at number 0, actually. They were even above Texas. At 14, I had Texas A&M, a little low on them, but understandable. At 15, I had South Carolina. And you know what? That was lower than what a lot of people had South Carolina.
Absolutely. I had them higher than that. And, well, if I made one, I would probably have them higher than that.
And a lot of people had South Carolina in the playoffs. I did not. But I still think they're a good team. They just obviously are 3-3. I had Ole Miss at 16.
Were they?
They're 3-3, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I think they're 3-3. Because they beat Kentucky. Anyway, Ole Miss at 16, a little low on them, but a lot of people were too. I have Michigan at 17. That's pretty accurate. Arizona State at 18. I'll admit I'm a little higher on Arizona State. Even if you're without your starting quarterback and you lose 42-10, that's pretty bad.
Also, Jeff Sims is literally garbage.
That's true. He's terrible.
Just terrible.
That's a very good point.
That one throw I saw, it was like you were like, dude, watch this throw. It was like just a dunk. Like, it was a dunk. I was like, this guy, all right, they have no chance. In the rain, too, nah.
Mm-hmm. This next team is an interesting team. Preseason, I had Georgia Tech at number 19. No one even had Georgia Tech sniffing the top 25 preseason.
Good for you.
I had him at number 19, but now the AP poll, and everyone has Georgia Tech at number 12.
Right? Yeah.
I have Georgia Tech unranked. I don't think Georgia Tech is going to make the playoffs. I think that they're going to get exposed sometime soon. I think that they have to play Georgia and then Miami if they make the ACC championship game. I think they're going to get splattered.
They should have lost versus Wake Forest, but
yep, they should have. But the refs completely missing offsides.
I mean, that was crazy.
At number 20, I'm glad I had them ranked.
Picked it on CBS.
At least I had them ranked in my top 20. I had Indiana at number 20.
Good for you.
Obviously, right now I have Indiana at number 4, I think. Or number 5, I don't remember. But Indiana's been so good. I'm so impressed with them.
That's about right. Yeah.
I had Tennessee at 21. I was underrating Tennessee at the beginning of the year. I still think that they're going to go 8-4. But, I don't know.
Well, there was a lot of people that said 7-5 at most. I'm like, they're winning more than 7 games. Like, I don't care. Josh Heupel's too good of a coach, but
you know what? Honestly, they still could lose.
I just don't see it. I think they're too good of a team, and I know their schedule's hard from here on out, but there's just no way they lose 7. They only get 7 games.
Well, I mean, they still have to play Bama,
I can
Florida.
see them get 8, but not 7. There's no way.
They gotta play Bama, Florida, Vandy, Missouri.
South Carolina?
No, they didn't. I don't think they play South Carolina. I don't know. They still have some tough games left. We'll see what happens with them. At 22, I had Iowa State. As you said, injuries sort of derailed them. Yeah. They beat Kansas State, so at least I got that right. We don't need to talk about this one. I'm just going to go straight to 24 after I mentioned. But 23, I had Minnesota. 24. Okay, you know what? They're 4-2, and they play Nebraska this week. And they could if they beat Nebraska, I'm going to be talking about it for an hour. It's possible. It's possible. If they win against Nebraska, we're back.
Here we go.
We're back on the Gopher train. It's still possible,
that
folks.
QB.
It's still possible. And then they play Ohio State. They already played Ohio State. They play Oregon on the road. We just saw Oregon lose to Indiana at home. They're vulnerable in that stadium. I'm telling you. At out. It's late in the year. It's in November. Minnesota going into Oregon. I'm just saying, if it happens, don't say that I didn't say it was going to happen. At 24, I had SMU. Listen, SMU's undefeated in the ACC. SMU has the same ACC record as Miami. Actually better. Miami's only 1-0 in the ACC. So SMU could still very much make the playoffs.
And they only beat Florida State. 0-8 their last SEC.
Yeah, which is terrible. And then number 25, I had Texas Tech. And now, listen, I said Texas Tech was overrated. They're good. They're gonna win. They're probably gonna win the Big 12. I'll say it. I was wrong about Texas Tech. I underrated them. They're pretty good. Notable unranked teams that I had. Missouri, I have them ranked now. Illinois, I still don't have them ranked. Auburn, I have them ranked now. BYU, Utah, Louisville, and my playoff team, Navy Midshipmen, they're still undefeated.
What a win they got.
Yeah, I already talked about it.
Really? You talked about it on the instant reaction?
I did.
That's hilarious because you watched like 2 seconds of the game and you're like, yes.
It was the 2:30 window. I was occupied with
No, I know.
No. I'm just gonna say because I'll admit to it. I didn't watch the whole game, but I was occupied with Indiana and other games, and I was like, no, Navy's losing, and I switched the channel and I watched because it was 24-24. And Temple scored with a minute left, and Navy runs the ball up the middle, and Blake Horvath goes 50.
I was like, what happened? They definitely didn't throw it because I was in there playing PS5 because I needed a chill pill. I needed to take a break from college football first, just a split second.
And you missed the best thing to happen on the weekend.
No way they threw the ball, and then the next play they throw it. Don't they?
Yeah, they
go
for
for it
two.
and
Dude,
throw it
and oh my gosh, that play was so awesome.
To Teska?
Teska.
Yeah.
Basically,
Isaac
also,
Teska?
of course, Navy. That don't we want that out of our United States of American Armed Forces to not settle for an extra point, go to overtime, but go for two? That's what we want. I felt so American cheering for Navy. I felt so American.
I'd rather them just take a knee.
Boo. I hate that. But Blake Horvath made a great play. He was like getting tackled. He was like falling to the ground, throws it for the win. Oh, I was so hyped. But yeah, Navy's still making the playoffs. But yeah, that's what I have for week 1 Stellar Shenanigans. I just think it's fun to look back on it, see where I was right, see where I was wrong, see how much chaos we've already descended to in college football.
Yeah, we've endured a lot.
And we're only halfway through, so there's going to be a lot more crazy things that happen the rest of the way. But that's all we have for y'all tonight. Thanks so much for watching. If you watched the whole thing, we really appreciate that. That's so awesome. You're such a stud. I can tell looking through this that you are very handsome, very beautiful, very gorgeous, and just an absolute, 10 out of 10 human being. You look great right now watching the screen. So just
smoke show.
Definitely. What do we always tell them?
Go make somebody smile. Go show somebody the love of God. Everybody needs it in this world. It's a broken world, so go find a way to do that. I'm trying to find a way. We're all trying to find a way. So, and yeah, that's all we got. We'll be back recording on Thursday. Video will come out Friday. Week 8 predictions. We may have a guest. We will not disclose who that is, but he's a pretty cool dude. So looking forward to it. It is gonna be fun, and that's all we got, y'all. So
it is.
Hope y'all have a great week. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thank y'all for tuning in.
God bless, ladies and gentlemen.